The U.S. Navy has recruited another Top Gun pilot just in time for the 4th of July. The long-in-development sequel to Top Gun has found its new leading man. Variety reports that the film will star Fantastic Four and War Dogs actor Miles Teller, and Teller himself seems to have confirmed the news by retweeting the story. Don't worry, he's not replacing Tom Cruise. Miles Teller will instead play the son of Cruise's old wingman, Goose, with Cruise himself back in the lead role of Maverick. Teller recently starred in the firefighter drama Only the Brave, which was the last project from Top Gun Maverick director Joseph Kosinski, and Kosinski has previously worked with Tom Cruise on the sci-fi movie Oblivion. Top Gun Maverick will soar into theaters next summer. I really dig Miles Teller as an actor. I know that there are a lot of problems with this guy behind the scenes, or there have been some issues behind the scenes. He got famous when he was really young, so he probably acted out a little bit. At least I don't even know what the issues are. I think there might have been some arrogance there or something like that, but he's a really, really compelling actor. I loved him in Whiplash. He was great in Only the Brave. I actually think that he would have been the perfect choice for a young Nathan Drake in an Uncharted movie series, and they didn't go with him. Tom Holland is apparently going to be that guy, but I think he's great, and I think he's going to be a very good actor, and he's going to learn a ton from Tom Cruise, who himself has lots of behind-the-scenes issues and dramas around what he does in his personal life. But God, Tom Cruise has been consistently a top player in Hollywood for his whole career, and he has always been able to work with great people, and I think Miles Teller is only going to learn from this guy. And Joseph Kosinski, I think, is an interesting director as well. I still think he has to find his way into some, truthfulness and some more humanity in his storytelling, but I think he did a really good job with Only the Brave. That's an underappreciated flick right there. I'm psyched for this. It's crazy that we're talking about this on the 4th of July, but it somehow fits, doesn't it? Move over, Nick Fury, because one of Marvel's biggest heroes is about to get a new director. Deadline reports that Marvel is closing in on a director to helm the Black Widow solo movie. When the search began, the studio was apparently looking at more than 50 potential directors, but Deadline claims they've narrowed it down to 4 contenders: indie filmmaker Maggie Betts, Australian director Kate Shortland, British filmmaker Alma Asante, and Boys Don't Cry director Kimberly Peirce. All 4 of them have already met with Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige and Black Widow herself, Scarlett Johansson, so an official decision might be made in the near future. The film itself doesn't have a release window yet. I think this is phenomenal. I can't wait for a Black Widow movie. I think this is one of those movies that can really kind of stretch the Marvel Universe in some interesting ways. Black Widow is a dark character. She's an assassin, she's a killer, and she's got a lot of psychological issues. This has sort of been briefly touched on in the Avengers flicks, and felt a little out of place, I think, in this sort of cartoony character world that we've had with all these superheroes meshing together. I think if we explore Black Widow's training and some of the darker things that she's had to do in her career, we're going to get a really compelling flick. I'm excited for this, and I think this is a great sign of Marvel kind of stretching its wings. And I hate to beat a dead horse here with the Star Wars movies, but how much they have struggled to bring in indie developers with their own sensibilities and their own sort of take on how to craft some of the stories within the Star Wars universe. And also when Rian Johnson started to kind of craft his own take on it, it's also created so much controversy there. And I wonder if Star Wars will ever be able to do this, this amount of experimentation that the Marvel movies seem to have been able to really grapple onto. So interesting days if you're a Marvel fan like I am. I love the MCU. I can't wait to see a Black Widow movie, and congratulations to Scarlett Johansson. She's been excellent in every single one of the Marvel movies that she has been in. She's made every scene that she's been in has been better. Every movie that she's been in as that character has been made better because of it, and she absolutely deserves her own flick. I can't wait. Now, in other Marvel news, AntMan and the Wasp are hitting theaters this Friday, but gamers can start playing with them right now. A new character and level pack based on the film is now available in all versions of LEGO Marvel Superheroes 2. Like the character packs from previous films like Black Panther and Avengers Infinity War, this one lets players take control of redesigned versions of AntMan and the Wasp as they embark on a new mission to Hank Pym's Forgotten Research Lab, where they'll take on new enemies. This is the 6th and final batch of DLC included in the game's Season Pass, so it seems doubtful that developer TT Games games. We'll be assembling more. This makes me want to go back and play that game some more. I really dug Superheroes 2. I thought it was great. Maybe not as groundbreaking as the first Marvel Superheroes game, but really, really fun. And I can't wait to see this movie. I'm actually seeing it tonight, so I'll have a review for you very soon. But I love these characters, and I want to go back into this game. I've been playing the Lego The Incredibles game, all of the after game content with my daughter, and that game is awesome. It's really, really fun, especially if you play with a younger kid. I can't believe I know they're familiar, and I know that they're similar to each other, the Lego experiences, but the quality bar is so damn high. They always make you smile, and even though they have a lot of the same mechanics, the way that they introduce the characters and their sense of humor and their sense of personality is always so good. So I'm psyched. I want to go back and play this some more, and if I do, I will stream some, I promise. Nothing says 4th of July like a good old-fashioned game of American football, even if it has mutants. Last year's over-the-top sports game, Mutant Football League, which was a spiritual successor to the classic 90s game Mutant League Football, is coming to the Nintendo Switch. It will have all the same content from the existing PC, PS4, and Xbox One versions, but will also add extra content like a new single-player mode and new races like werewolves and demons. Thankfully, the new content will be released on the other platforms at the same time. We actually asked Mutant Football League's designer Michael Mendheim to make a Switch version when we interviewed him last year, and you can watch that interview on our channel. The new version of Mutant Football League lands this fall. This game is really damn fun. It's a kitschy, crazy kind of take on football. It's very accessible. The commentary is by Tim Kitzrow of NBA Jam fame, and it's over the top and insane. I actually had Tim and Michael Mendheim on the show earlier this year, and I had a great conversation with those guys. I ran into Tim Kitzrow at E3, and I connected with him and Tommy Tallarico at the same time, and it was kind of like the 90s, so all coming back to life again, which is kind of why Mutant Football League is so cool too. It's a throwback to the glory days of arcade sports, and it's a perfect fit on the Switch. And I didn't review the game. I don't know why. I think we just get slammed from time to time, and I just can't hit every single title that comes out. But when this comes out on the Switch, I promise you will get a review of this, and we will stream some more, and Blake and I will play it, and I think it's a great fit. Can't wait for that. Now, gamers down under have a very good reason to be happy. The stylish new indie game We Happy Few has been unbanned in Australia. The game, due to its heavy emphasis on drug use, was initially refused a rating by the Australian government's Classification Review Board, which meant that it couldn't be sold in the country. Developer Compulsion Games appealed the ruling, arguing that the drug use in the game is portrayed in a negative light, so the board now has given it an R18+ rating, which means it can only be sold to adults. Thanks to the decision, We Happy Few will be released in Australia on August 10th, the same day it hits the rest of the world on the PC and Xbox One. An unfinished version of the game has been playable through Steam Early Access since 2016. Now, I played a little bit of this game, I think a couple of times, and I've dug it each time, but it feels weird to play the game kind of out of context, and you don't really get a sense of the scale or the story in its ambitions. I think until you sit down and play the whole thing. And it feels like a small game trying to be a big game from what I've played and in little bits and pieces that I've played. But clearly they've got something special there. Compulsion was recently announced as one of the studios that Microsoft bought at E3 this year. And so they've got a cash injection, and I'm sure that they've got lots of new developers working at the studio in Montreal. I'm excited to get the final version of this title. I want to sit back and let it sort of wash over me. It definitely has echoes of some of the experiences that we had in BioShock, and it has a cool aesthetic. I just hope that the gameplay story really envelops me and really makes it something special to play all the way through, which I will be doing very soon, it looks like. It looks like this is going to be a fun summer release. I'm glad it's finally out, and I'm very happy for everybody at Compulsion Games. Congratulations on all the good news that's been happening around your studio. All right, that's going to do it for our rundown. Let's go to this day in everything cool.